You know what you should have done?
Hey everyone, Stag Bradford here. This is the second installment of You Know What You Should Have Done? And we're going to focus on a super gold Ken as he goes up against a gold Ryu. But first, real quick, September 17th, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Stream Team Battle New Zealand is going down. A 5 vs 5 all-ranked team event hosted only at twitch.tv/StagBradford. I better see you there. Alright, let's get right into it. We're going to start things off with the opponent doing a jump light Tatsu with us going right into a fierce fireball, which, of course, is risky, and most fireballs are, so you have to gauge whether or not it's a risk worth taking. But he wanted to get some immediate pressure, and the Ryu player probably jumped for the same reason. Now, had that been a regular jump, it would have been big damage. But he chose the Tatsu and it actually whiffed, and Red line was plus here. Had he known that, he could have done something like this. Red wasn't anticipating this whiff and reacted late and got caught with a counter hit. Moving on, we see a fireball that Red does a good job of blocking and blocking, followed up by a forward heavy punch. Now, forward heavy punch is -2 and effectively ends the Ryu's turn in exchange for big damage if it happens to hit. Despite that, Ryu goes for a stand light kick, and if we take a look at the key display, we can see Red did try to check this and it was the right call. This stand light kick puts the Ryu in another -2 situation, and again he disregards this and goes for a follow-up crutch medium kick. Now, Red could have checked this with the same button, or he could have done something like crutch medium kick fireball. If he was super on point, he could confirm either of these buttons using the stun bar. Moving on, Ryu goes into a crutch medium kick fireball, and it's actually a well-placed one as it's too far to be punished and too close to be interrupted. But again, we're going to keep this in our mind moving forward. Okay, now we see a mid-screen overhead, likely a mistake, and we see Red reacting a bit late, of course, not expecting such an action. But Stand Fierce is the slower of a lot of other options. He could have considered something like Stand Medium Kick to whiff punish. Then we see this follow-up sweep, and you're probably wondering, what the hell is this? Overhead into sweep? Is it dumb? Yes, but the reason this is working is because the Ryu player is capitalizing on Red's late reactions, just like how he did with that opening Tatsu. Let's keep going now. The Ryu goes for another forward heavy punch from downtown and whiffs. Red chooses crouch medium punch to whiff punish, but it's just out of range, and again the Ryu punishes Red's faulty reaction. This is actually another situation where stand medium kick would have worked. Anyway, gets hit and decides to delay rise here, at least I think he decided that, and then hops up and goes for what looks like an EXCP judging by the buttons. Well, he doesn't have the meter to do that, so he just eats an elbow to the mouth, and again, lucky for him, the Ryu's combos aren't quite optimal, so he stays standing. Now here is the first reactable fireball to look out for. HP DP is a great answer for fireballs like this, and it would double as a whiff punish if the Ryu decided to whiff forward heavy punch from here. Funny enough, the Ryu goes for the forward heavy punch here, but Red appears hesitant now of reacting late and getting swept, so they stare at each other for a few frames, and at nearly the same time, Ryu goes for crouch medium kick and Red decides to jump out. Not a terrible call, that would have been an impressive crosscut on Ryu's end. Alright, now we're seeing the whiffed crutch medium kick from Ryu. I complain about this button a lot. It's difficult to whiff punish, and it's very active, meaning it stays out longer than you might expect. Ken has a pretty good answer for this with his stand light kick, and if you're confident in the spacing, you can finish it with an HP DP for succulent whiff punish. Great block on the EX Fireball. It's one of Ryu's better EX moves as it catches people moving forward and it knocks down. Definitely something to stay aware of. Another couple opportunities to HP DP these fireballs, but it looks like Red is going for a walk-up jab to stuff the fireball. I'm not sure. Missed anti-air here, but Red actually did a good job spacing himself, so at least the Ryu stays in front, closer to the corner. Here, Red wakes up with a fairly inexplicable crouch medium punch. It could be that he felt comfortable after the throw due to the space, but what actually cost him big here is the follow-up stand heavy kick. But the Ryu already committed to that frickin' forward heavy punch, and again, if he meant business, could have killed here, but hasn't quite maximized the combos, giving Red another chance. Just afterward, Red makes another big call on wake up with crouch jab. Now this could have been because he has meter and V-trigger and he expected the Ryu player to be worried about that and block, and in this case he was right. However, as you can see, the Ryu stand blocks this. Now Crutch Light Punch is a 4-frame startup, and with Ken lacking a 3-frame normal, this is his fastest. Crutch Light Kick though is also 4 frames and hits low. With a little work, this is a very practical confirm if you decide to make this sort of call on wake up. Now check this out, Ryu goes for a crutch medium kick fireball, but this time it's from max range. From this range, Ken is actually able to interrupt this fireball with HP DP. You gotta be real certain it's max range though, because if it's just a tad closer, you won't have enough time to get it out. Ryu goes for another downtown forward heavy punch, and Red's spacing is just a little bit off and the round is over. Going into this next round, I would keep my focus on the fireballs and forward heavy punch primarily. Not too far into the second round, we see a second jump in Tatsu. This time it's blocked. Now this is rarely plus on block and something you usually want to check with something you're able to confirm. Ken's HP DP can punish Ryu's fireball, and the situation here is the absolute max range this will work. The way you could tell is how deep Ryu's foot is into Ken's leg. Any further out and it would lead to major damage. Not long after, we see the familiar forward heavy punch, and this time Red responds with stand medium punch. Crouch medium punch again is 1 frame faster and would have worked here. There's the fireball we're looking for. Again, Red wakes up with a crouch light punch and this time gets a counter hit. In his head, he has already committed to the block string, but had the intention been to confirm the first 2 hits, it would have been very beneficial. Similar to last wake up, Red spaces himself out with the normals and then tacks on a risky stand heavy kick in what I assume is just an autopilot issue. It trades with the back heavy kick, and the Ryu goes for what looks like crouch medium kick EX fireball, but accidentally gets a medium donkey kick, which is minus 15. Plenty of time for a walk-in punish or stand medium kick at the least. Red, not being sure, goes for crouch medium punch to be safe and to jump forward, and here we see that sweep this Ryu keeps banking on in those unsure situations. Now here, Red gets his first crush counter, and to his credit, I think he might be using that stand heavy kick to beat the forward heavy punch. I'm not a Ken main, but it looks like we could get a bit more out of this combo with HK Tatsu instead. Or in this case, with all the meter, I myself would have gone with MK Tatsu into EXDP, as we are likely to build up enough meter by the time his health gets low. Ryu wakes up the EXDP, and well, that's just gonna happen. It was a big call for the Ryu and it worked. Red could have slightly delayed a button to fish it out, but you also don't always want to give up your meaty, so it is what it is. Another thing I'll mention about forward heavy punch, this one in particular, is that this one only worked because Ken was crouching. We're outside of crouch medium kick range here, so there's no real reason why we should be crouching, and had he been standing, this would have been a prime punish. Now here, Red does an awesome walk forward block on this fireball, but what he might not know is from here he could have gotten that HP DP punish. Again, the Ryu sweeps, probably anticipating a bad punish. Red could have done a few things here, but sweep would have been sufficient. As we can see, there are a lot of repeating patterns here that would have changed everything. Doesn't anti-air, which is fine. Nearly identical to what we saw in round 1. Blocked jump in leading to a throw, and Red once more wakes up with crouch medium punch, but this time it works against the overhead, and he actually gets the counter hit follow-up crouch medium kick. But unfortunately, he threw these without the intention of confirming, as he had many conversions to choose from here. Instead, he opts for his preferred way to activate and stand heavy kick. Ryu makes a bad call here and challenges the V-trigger, rewarding Red with a counter hit and a decent conversion. Although he saved the meter, after some experimenting, it looks like with the optimal combo he could have killed him right here. Now here I think it was just spaced out where HP DP doesn't work, but now that Red has meter, he could have easily blown through this with EX DP. The stand heavy kick doing more harm than it is good, with a lucky forward heavy punch from the Ryu finding its mark again. Now this crouch light punch works, but what a dire situation to do it in. From here, Ryu is +4 after a HP DP into dash. But lucky for Red, the Ryu player tried to do activate using stand medium kick. Third round, both these players have been given all the data they need to conquer the other one, so let's see what happens here. The air approach is proving a real difficult aspect for Red, especially considering a crouch heavy punch would have been just fine in this situation. Seeing plenty of opportunities here to unleash a whiff punish, including this newly introduced stand medium kick. Red, still a bit confused on the ground, opts for the air again and meets Ryu's foot. We already see where this is going, and although it is his first time waking up with this option, the Ryu had already presented this walk back block option before. V-shift break doesn't allow for much here, but at least it was successful and saved him half a V-bar. Not sure what the strategy is here, but it buys Red an opportunity. Red sets up an awesome light conversion here, but perhaps lacking in confidence decides to continue pressure with the jump in. Stays in hot and goes for a total Hail Mary crouch medium kick light Tatsu, which luckily is successful. Now this is confirmable with some practice, and you can use the stun bar here to help out. Once more, the stand heavy kick gets Red in trouble, and it's very important to recognize when your opponent has BT that allows stuff like this to happen. No activate sweep, we are playing spicy in this last round. However, this too is something you can confirm. If it hits, you let it rip, but if blocked, you can then activate to keep it safe. Oh, just brutal. I wonder if he actually went for the crouch fierce here, but there was no follow-up. That was game, goddammit, Red. At this point, it seems the panic levels are too high to contain. The Ryu goes for another Hail Mary sweep and it's blocked, and it's punished, but from this range, Red had another chance to end it all. And Red bets the farm, but Ryu blocks it out and gets the punish. Okay, here's some key lessons to take away from this replay. Keep your awareness on forward heavy punch and fireball. Both are easily punishable if not placed right. Better wake up options. Most of the time the worst thing that can happen if you don't press anything is a throw, so you have to think carefully before pressing something. Conversions and punish optimization. Giving your opponents more opportunities is not something you want to do in a volatile game like this, so if you get a hit, you gotta make it count. Anti-airs. Much of the air game was very linear in this matchup and easily stopped with a crouch fierce. And lastly, fireballs. Keep your fireball in the game. I hope you all found this useful, and if you did, please like this frickin' video and also sub for future videos. Also, leave a comment if I messed something up or left something out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.